A Shadow on the Wall, Collapsing the Meta-Narratives of Fantasy Fiction. The 20th century philosopher Jean-François Lyotard defined the postmodern expression as incredulity towards meta-narratives. In this essay, I explore how George R.R. Martin treats meta-narratives throughout A Song of Ice and Fire. Specifically, I argue that he subverts the structural meta-narratives of fantasy literature, as well as the various social meta-narratives, such as feudalism, religion, and patriarchy, that are routinely depicted within the genre. According to Lyotard, a meta-narrative is a unifying story that claims to explain how the world works and what human beings experience. It is a grand, totalizing theory that incorporates all other narratives, be they literary, historical, or spiritual, into its framework. Thus, by undermining and ultimately rejecting the legitimacy of such meta-narratives, Martin and his text embody a postmodern viewpoint. In A Clash of Kings, the second book in the series, the Crown's spymaster Varys recites a riddle which embodies what I would regard as a postmodern skepticism of meta-narratives. Addressing Tyrion Lannister, the acting hand of the king, he says, quote, "In a room sit three great men, a king, a priest, and a rich man with his gold. Between them stands a sellsword, a little man of common birth and no great mind. Each of the great ones bids him slay the other two. Do it, says the king, for I am your lawful ruler. Do it, says the priest, for I command you in the name of the gods. Do it, says the rich man, and all this gold shall be yours. So tell me, who lives and who dies? Power resides where men believe it resides. It's a trick, a shadow on the wall." End quote. The above passage suggests that, while the mercenary might hold the only weapon in the room, and thus the material power to determine life and death, the social authority that he perceives each of his superiors to possess, according to the meta-narratives that govern his society, will compel him to serve their wills over his own. Thus, Varys draws attention to the idea that power is not innate. Rather, it is constructed through the practice of storytelling and ritual. Postmodern theory contends that meta-narratives, quote, claim to provide universal explanations and then trade on the authority this gives them, end quote. This theory is demonstrated in the above example. Each of the great men in Varys' riddle derives his power from a particular totalizing worldview, be it feudalism, religion, patriarchy, or capitalism. It is no great mystery why those at the top seek to cultivate the narrative from which their authority stems. But why does the individual, the sellsword so to speak, buy into these fables? Perhaps because it gives their life meaning. According to English professor Paul Sheehan, humans are inherently storytelling animals. Thus, the idea of a meta-narrative that we all belong to, that connects each of us, from the lowliest peasant to the mightiest king, and makes sense of this arrangement, is highly appealing. You can find the rest of this essay in my new book, Notes from the Citadel, The Philosophy and Psychology of A Song of Ice and Fire, available in ebook and paperback via the link in the video description.